Tough day of trading for my morning session today. I took 2 trades, both were losers. I went into the session thinking that we're going to be very choppy. We had a VWAP open across the board. We opened up flat, meaning no movement on the pre-market session, and we have CPI tomorrow with FOMC minutes. So everything kind of teed up for a very boring, slow sort of session. I was expecting some chop. Ended up getting in a little too early on the chop. It sucks to give back some gains, but that's part of trading. You make some, you lose some. So let's go and dive into the recap. Might be a pretty boring day, to be honest. It's kind of seeming that way from what I've looked at so far. I hate VWAP opens, but we'll see. Hopefully something happens. I mean, we're literally opening flat and at VWAP. I feel like it's going to be pretty boring, pretty flat. Maybe a little dip to buy. Yesterday was buy the dip. My gosh, we bought the lows of the day yesterday on the stream. Should have held those all day long, huh? Luckily, was able to grab into the trades. Ended up having mostly long trades yesterday. Took a few stabs short, but nothing too aggressive. It was pretty clear that it was a slow grind by the dip sort of morning. News-wise today, this is where we stand. We got Yellen speaking at 10:30. Might be a little movement. We'll see. Feels like today's pretty flat though, because the rest of the week we do have stuff. So I feel like today ends up being pretty flat and boring, and then tomorrow we go into CPI and FOMC. So the rest of the week after today, there's stuff at 7:30 or 9 every morning, but today there's nothing. The reason I don't like VWAP opens like this and flat on the day opens is that it just really feels like if we are going to move, it feels like a flip of a coin. And a lot of times what you see is it just, once we establish the range, we just end up bouncing back and forth between it, just hugging this. I mean, look at all the volume, right? All the volume on the sessions at VWAP as well. So it's just kind of gross. There's no size on the books. I hope we find something, obviously, but a lot of times on a day like this, seemingly at least, if you sweep the lows like that, Delta comes up pretty strong and we had a VWAP open. A lot of times it just reverts right back to VWAP. Probably should have just marketed in, honestly, at the low 30s, or I mean the mid 30s. I'll wait for another pullback. I mean, buyers looking pretty good here. Ran the 75. Coming in for the 50. I'm long 1. Got a little bit more sellers coming through here as well. Kind of stair stepping down right now. Down 6 points. Hanging at the magical 20s right now. It's new lows on a day. Not seeing a ton of selling yet. We do have a little bit of size down into the teens that I'll be watching out for. I added one here. Maybe hunting the 15s here. It's technically ticking new lows. There's the teens, the 11s. So we got that block at 100. After 100, we don't really got much sitting around. Definitely the biggest thing on the books right now though is 100. So probably a magnet there. We're what, 5 points away? I'm 30 points off average price right now. Waiting to see what happens at 100. Not going to kill it at 100. It doesn't make any sense to do that. But more movement than I thought we would have. I'll say that for sure. Thought we were just going to kind of melt around VWAP. Instead, we got a 50 point flush to the downside. 60 points off the true open, I guess. Not bad. Little wick test here at 20. Value area low. Overnight lows. Watching that. Needs to pop prior highs at 18. Get back above 20. Gets back above 20. We get the rotation. But as of right now, just getting rejected at volume. Putting in a lot of volume here. 460 at 117.5. Current point of control in the day. Want to see this close above volume in the next minute, but it's looking a little heavy into the close. We got a lot of juice down here too, so want to see how this closes. This is a pretty freaking heavy close. I'm out on that. I don't like this close at all. I think we rotate into the 90s. It makes sense. We might go test 20 one more time, but all this juice down here in the 90s, I'm out on that. I'm down at what, $1,000. And I'm like, everything on this structure looks pretty good for buy ups off of 100 on the 5 minute. I just want to see a sweep 90 and then kind of pump it. And they really just moved it all back down into the 70s. I'm going to take a little stab here. It is a little bit of heavy selling as well. Got a 100 probably. 120 at a 101. Here comes the 80s. Yes, had a nice sweep. Rejection off VWAP. A little push off of it so far, but this is a very tight range on the ES. It's very hard to like even talk about anything when it's like a 2 point range. Very hard to aggressively talk about. We're ticking new lows. Got a 50 block. That 116, dude, just keeps bringing it down. I do not like that price action. I'm out. I am clearly not seeing it correctly. Yeah, I'm just not willing to give back a bunch after a really good week. So that's it for me.